This is the Ripley's Aquarium in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I do apologize for having to do this video as a voiceover. Unfortunately, while I was there, it was lots and lots of screaming children, which is fine, I expected that. But they were playing the same 3 Christmas carols over and over and over again. And I figured rather than make your eyes bleed this early in the Christmas season, I would just go ahead and do a voiceover. Now, obviously, you can tell, I believe this was called Jelly World, something along those lines. It was mostly just jellyfish and color-changing lights in there that kind of reacted with the jellyfish. It was neat. Not a whole lot was special about it, but it was neat. I like jellyfish. I don't like swimming in the ocean with jellyfish, but I like jellyfish. I've actually only been stung by jellyfish once, and that was not this time, but the last time that I went to Myrtle Beach. My last day there, went in for my final swim in the ocean. Was in there for 5 minutes. Got me right on the leg. These are, I forget what they called these, like upside down jellyfish or something like that, and they just kind of, they're on the bottom waiting for you to step on them so that they can sting your foot off. And these guys here were ginormous. I was kind of transfixed by these. They were big. They don't react with the coloration as well as the little ones, but these were fun to watch. And in all honesty, they were probably the most interesting jellyfish in the whole display. I didn't necessarily find this aquarium to be, I don't know, worth the money. I mean, it was a nice aquarium, but it was very expensive to get in, and I didn't see that it was worth what I paid to get in, but it was definitely a nice aquarium. And if you have kids, there's a lot of educational stuff. There's a lot of things that they can touch and play with and things like that. So it was probably worth the money if you have kids, but I don't have kids. So for me, I wasn't real happy about the amount of money I had spent in here. This is inside the Ripley's Aquarium, and this is the coolest feature of the aquarium. They've got a tube that you go through, and it's a pretty long tube, and a lot of the footage in this video is from inside that tube. And what it is there's a moving walkway, kind of like the ones that you get at the airport, and you kind of stand on it and it goes by very slowly. I was standing perfectly still in this shot right here, so you can kind of see how slow the ground was actually moving. The only problem with it was, I don't know where the emergency shutoff was, but 4 or 5 times that I was in there, kids hit it, and like all these like alarms and sounds and everything would start going off, and somebody that worked at the aquarium would just go running down the thing to go turn the thing back on. So it was a little bit bizarre. There were also a lot of sharks. A lot of them were just like that one there. You had a couple of hammerheads in another tank, and then there was those ones with the big chainsaw on their face. I don't know what the heck it was, but man, it looked like a chainsaw. It's kind of a goofy looking shark. At least I think it was a shark. It looked like a shark. I don't know. This poor little sea turtle is the only one I saw in the entire tube. I felt so bad for him. He doesn't have a little friend. But he doesn't seem to be too upset about it. I love sea turtles. And there he goes heading for a shark, and he doesn't care. Apparently neither is a shark. See, there's the shark with the chainsaw on its face. Yeah. He has these things on the bottom of him that almost look like legs, and I didn't even notice them. There was a family behind me, and I guess it was the father of the group. He noticed them, and I didn't record him pointing them out because I don't think he would appreciate me putting them on YouTube, but he pointed them out, and it was really weird because they looked like underdeveloped legs, and you could kind of see when he was swimming away in that video, you could kind of see like the two little sticks sticking out of the back of them. I don't know what that was. I don't know if they were fins. I don't know what he uses them for, but it was weird. It was really weird. But see, I like this thing because this tube, as you can see, kind of, the fish can go over you. They're on both sides of you. The only problem was that one side there on the right-hand side was a lot darker than the right-hand side. I mean, the left-hand side, I'm just blah, blah, blah. I guess probably because of the placement of the sun. I don't know if the sun hits the right-hand side better later in the day or earlier in the day or whatever the case may be. But on top, there, it was pretty much all open, like skylights and stuff. Believe it or not, it was, I don't know if you can see it in any of these clips. I forgot to look. But they have this experience that they advertise. This cracked me up so bad. It's a boat experience. It's a glass bottom boat experience. And you have to pay extra for it. It doesn't come along with the price of the ticket. And you're supposed to, what they advertise it as, is you get into the boat and you get to see everything below, which is kind of cool. And I was actually talking to a woman. She was there with her grandkids, and she had paid for the experience. And what she thought it was because right behind Ripley's is, I guess it's the bay back there. She thought they were actually going to take the boat out on the bay so that the kids could see what was living in the bay. And that's not what it was. What it was it was inside the actual aquarium. And it was a tank that was probably about the size of a swimming pool. Not even an Olympic length swimming pool. It was just like a standard, swimming pool, like a public swimming pool. And they just rode this thing around so that you could see the fish from the top. And they're the same fish that you just saw from all sides. And it was, I'm sitting there, I'm like, really, you're going to pay extra for it to see them from above? I don't know. Not something I would want to pay money for, and I'd be really pissed off. And I know this grandmother that I was talking to, she was really angry. When she realized she paid extra just to see the same fish from above, she was really angry. I felt so bad for her. But we're at the rays. Now, they do have a ray touch tank. And I believe this actually, I think at least part of this tank connects to the touch tank. So all of these rays can be touched if they decide they want to go into the touch tank. And it's way up on the top, and they've got to come up over a lip and then swim around. When I went to the touch tank, there weren't a whole lot of them in there, but there was this very small hammerhead shark that was swimming around. And there was a couple kids. There wasn't a whole lot of kids there because it is the off season. And there were a couple of kids there, and they were trying to touch the rays, and they were trying to touch the shark. There was this one little boy, he was just obsessed with touching this shark. And I swear, the rays and the shark came just close enough to tease you. They wouldn't actually let you touch them. I think I might have skimmed the top of a ray at one point. But the kids, I mean, there was this one kid, he was there with his sister, and he was handling it pretty well. He got to touch a ray. He was dying to touch the shark. He never actually got to touch the shark. But his sister, I think it was his older sister, was there. And she hadn't gotten to touch anything. And she was crying and everything. It was sad. It was such a shame. But there's nothing you can do. Either they're going to come up or they're not. And they don't have to let you touch them. They're still wild animals. This was kind of neat here. It was, I think we just passed the final clip of it, but it was supposed to look like a sunken ship. And I thought it was kind of neat. You get to see all the fish swimming in and out of it. The decor of this underwater area is actually quite nice. And it makes it kind of worth traveling through. This is actually an eel tank. And they had them separated. You kind of see the eels. I try to get up a little bit closer when I realized they're not really... You can't really differentiate them from the rocks, but they had some very colorful underwater plant life, and they do have these massive eels. There's one there with his head sticking up in the air, but they do have these massive eels in here, and it is separated from the rest of the tank, but it's still part of that tube with the moving ground kind of thing. They weren't moving a whole lot, as you can tell. That one up there was moving. I think that was the only one that was moving, and he just kind of wiggled around and went into the rocks or something. But This one just looked angry. This in here, what was this? I think this was like another tank area. There was a whole other area of the aquarium where there were like separate tanks, and these were like more colorful underwater fish. This is a different kind of seahorse. They had two kinds there, and there's like these round tanks, and you can kind of see it through a round window. And it's not the easiest thing to see because they like to stay down towards the bottom. But especially the next group of seahorses, they preferred to stay down by the bottom. But so it was kind of hard to see them, but this one was at least somewhat moving. And here's the other one. I actually had a lot of footage of these, but it didn't come out real well. So all I got were these two. The one speed racer across the bottom there, and then this one hanging off of a little bush. More stingrays. That one right there was a ham. He did what he's doing here. He would swim past and then come up so that his underbelly was facing you. He just did that over and over and over again. And I swear, because there were a lot of people there, and when the people thinned out, he quit doing it. And I swear, they say these fish and everything can't see you through the glass, but I think they can. Because, I mean, it was just weird. I mean, he's doing this constantly while all those people are there. And then as soon as they disappear, he stopped. Now, there's the hammerhead. That's not the one that you can pet. That's the one that'll eat you if you try to pet it. There was a very much smaller one. I would say it was probably only maybe a foot long. And he was the one that kept getting into the touch tank. They also had somewhat land creatures. They had a lizard and frog area. Very disappointing. Literally iguanas and poison dart frogs. That was it. There was nothing else in the lizard and frog area. I don't know if they were opening up more tanks at some point, but while I was there, these two, they were it. There's the Ripley's Aquarium in Myrtle Beach.